try to do the intro 3 times. The light's drawing my eyeballs out. Ready? Here we go. I'll keep this in too. Hey nerds, welcome to Jerry Bear Reacts. Today we're gonna rank the Shadowhunter characters. That's what we're gonna do. There's not that many of them. If you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe for daily content. If there's a day, there's a reaction. Links in the description box down below for the Patreon, the Twitch stream, and everything in between. Jerry will hang out with us behind the scenes just a few seconds, and we're gonna rank all 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 37, 38 characters they have here for Shadowhunters. Shadowhunters does benefit from not having that many characters because it is story-driven rather than being episodic about solving murder mysteries and crimes and this, that, and the other. So there is a benefit to having a lot of the same characters appear each and every episode, and you can get familiar and grow more attached to them rather than having our 2 main characters like we did for 15 seasons of Supernatural and then a bunch of side characters sprinkled in. This show is not better than Supernatural. That wasn't that comparison at all, but I did enjoy this. You guys will have the series recap tomorrow. We'll rank all of our seasons. We'll rank our finales. We'll talk about the show kind of in depth off the top of the head without a lot of notes. We'll do an in memoriam, this, that, and the other. But this is strictly for Shadowhunters. I'll have the link for this tier list I've made. I'm actually going to go ahead and copy it. I'll have a link for this in the description box down below, so you guys can also fill this out if you would like to. And if so, feel free to drop it in our public Discord and let me know your own character. I'll maybe make a post about it as well. You can put it there, and we can see everybody's ranking. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to hop into it. We're going to rank these people. Some of the rankings may be obvious. Some may not be. We deal with a 7-tier tier list over here on this channel. We start with question marks. That means I don't remember who they are. Trash just means you are garbage. C tier, B tier, A tier, all self-explanatory. S tier is above and beyond those tiers. And then Mr. GOAT, we save for last. Mr. GOAT just simply stands for Mount Rushmore, greatest of all time. We will put our 4 favorites, our Mount Rushmore of Shadowhunter characters up here once we're finished with everything. We normally do this live, but scheduling issues, I guess. And it's also really late at night. So without further ado, we're going to get started, right? Look, I'm going to scooch up a little bit because my vision is not working today. And we're going to start just in the order they have. I may save some of the main characters, or I may just go all the way through. And we'll start with Victor Aldertree, bro. Trash. Trash. I liked his accent, but getting Lizzie addicted to the infant and, you know, having a chance to redeem yourself as he was working on in the back half of, what, the 2nd season? And then to come in 1 episode and be a shitty person in that is also kind of fucking hot garbage. Alec is easily an S tier, dude. Come on. What is this? Amateur hour? This was Sebastian's cousin. She didn't do nothing noteworthy. We'll throw her in C tier because she's not really memorable. We can talk more about Alec. Well, we can talk about Alec now, I guess. I mean, it's Alec Lightwood. He's a wholesome boy. Sure, in the 1st season, he was a bit of a little shit, but he has some growing to do. He had to come into his own as a character and as an individual, and he managed to do so. And he's involved in the best relationship, if not the best relationship of any show we've watched so far. It's definitely up there. Like, I'm big on Sterilon, but like that's pretty up there, dude. Shout out Alec. Asmodeus, not Asmodeus, Asmodeus. He was also a piece of shit all the way around. We got our guy, I forgot, I keep wanting to call him Kyle, and I don't think his name is Kyle. The one that Magnus saved his life. I'm going to put him in our first solid B tier because he only appears twice, and he was wholesome both times. So our little friend right there, easy B tier. Asmodeus is a piece of shit. Is that Camille? I had to skim through. I think that's Camille the vampire, right? We'll give her a C tier. I don't really care either way. Oh, man, I done forgot her name. This was the girl that was looking after Madzi. The nurse, right? Yeah, she also doubled up as a nurse. She was solid. She held it down. A tier. I don't have much to say, but I'll put it in our first A tier. We'll wait on that one. We'll wait on Clary. This was like Magnus's old flame or whatever that tried to sleep with him at one point. I don't think she was in a lot of episodes, but she was also a warlock. I kind of want to put her in trash tier, but She was all right. Heidi, dude. Okay, so Heidi, yes, is like responsible for a lot of the most like heinous shit towards that part of the season. She did a lot of bad things, but she was starting to be like come into her own character as like this master of puppets. Like she was pulling strings, dude. Like she's definitely not an S tier character. She might be a strong A tier. I think I'm gonna initially put her in a B tier because I feel like she could have been an A tier villain, even an S tier villain if given enough time. But obviously, everything had to be ran pretty short. Um, this was the gay Sealy girl, right? I mean, she didn't do nothing noteworthy. I put her in C tier. Fucking Iris's punk ass, bro. Look, trash and trash. Both of them hot garbage. Logan Paul's long lost cousin, trash, and this little witch bitch, fucking warlock lady, whatever the hell, garbage. Uh, Mama of the Institute, she was pretty shitty for the most part, but I guess I could also put her in a C tier. I feel like at times they didn't know what to do with Izzy. Izzy's an easy S tier, by the way. A lot of times they didn't know what to do with her, especially after like the first season, again being hyper sexualized, and then coming in the second season, and it's more of okay, she has this addiction she has to overcome, and then after that, in the first part of the third season, it was just like she's just there before she got her like powers, which was obviously supposed to be explored more in the fourth season that we didn't get. So yeah, but I'll put her in S tier. She can almost drop to an A tier because of bad writing, but we'll leave her in S tier because she's a wholesome being. Uh, Clary's mother is on here twice, and I don't really care that much about her. I'm not gonna say she's trash. I'll just put her in C tier both times. Good heavens. Jonathan takes the cake when it comes to trash because that brother is fucking boring. Just boring. Jordan Kyle. I like Jordan a lot, bro. I'll give him A. He's not an S tier character just because I don't think he had enough time to be an S tier character. So I think we'll just slot him in A tier for now. I think it's where he deserves to be. Yeah, yeah. I like him. He got to say his piece. He got to come back and what he was for um with um with Maya. He got to come into his own and come back and apologize. And well, they made up. He took a bullet for her, a silver bullet for her. And yeah, I wish we had more time with him as well because I feel like him and Simon's relationship could have also developed as friends. Mm, Lilith, B tier only because she was boring for the most part, but then she had really cool moments that could put her up at an H. She may move up. Her and Heidi may move up. I'll leave her at B for right now, just because it's like we don't know what to do with her at the moment. We're gonna keep her off screen for 4 straight episodes, and then she's gonna kill an angel, and then we're not gonna see her again forever. Um, I always forget his name, dude. The High Warlock guy. He had really good development from being a little shit to being kind of wholesome. I think I'll also put. I think C is like this is our average. I don't think any of these people have any room to be in B tier. He could potentially be in B, but I don't think he made that much of a fucking improvement to be that. Same with this girl. I don't remember her name. It's the one Alec almost married. She meant well, but mm. Madsy is a wholesome little bean. I'm gonna put her in A tier just because she's adorable, and she ain't never did nothing wrong ever in her life, and all she wants is ice cream and sprinkles, and we're just gonna. That's enough of it. The Old Spice man, Luke. I think I would also put Luke. I think most of our main characters, Luke S. He can almost move to A, but I think I'm gonna keep him in S. Magnus is the easiest S of all time because he's simply just he's a perfect boy, you know. Maya S tier. Mama Lightwood really, 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 really improved on herself after being an absolute shit pile for the first little bit we saw her. I'll give her A. I'm gonna give Meliorn B because he didn't get enough screen time, but he was overall a cool fucking character. This demon, I think, was like, who gives a shit, honestly? Wasn't he? Is that Magnus's friend? we'll just put him in question marks because I didn't care enough. I think Raphael was an S tier character. We're gonna dive more into it in a minute. This dude, I forgot his name, but they ribbed on him the whole first 2 seasons. He was just trash, but he was fun to trash. Their father, trash. Little Max. Max is a strong B tier character. You know what? He was funny. I'll give Max an A. We'll give the Sealy Queen an A. I'm gonna give this version of Jonathan slash Sebastian a C instead of trash because he wasn't as boring. Well, actually, no, they were both boring. This is going to be Jonathan for just Sebastian from what we know of him. This isn't Jonathan. This is just Seabass, C tier. And then we'll give Simon S. We're going to give Buddy that was kind of flirting with Alec at one point, but then ended up with his little warlock friend. I think he was just a very nice gentleman. We'll give him B tier. And that brings us to our main characters. And I say main characters because this was the two that had the most focal point all the way around. And I am going to easily give Jason S tier because the brother never knew a single moment of peace. And I don't really know where to put Clary. And I say that because she's not a definitive S tier character for me. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't dislike her. She was put in a lot of bad situations and she made the most of it. Part of me wants to put her in an A tier just because, I mean, I enjoyed seeing Maya than her. I enjoyed seeing Izzy more than her. Hell, I enjoyed seeing Mazzy more than Clary, but I don't have any. Like, if you go back to the 100, like, Clark is just there sometimes. And sometimes you see Clark and you're just like, oh, God, come on. Same thing with Elena from the Vampire Diaries. There's some parts where you're just like, yeah, dude, I get it. It's hard to pinpoint with Clary because she is like automatically just a Shadowhunter. But there's times where she's really badass and there's times where I don't know. I think I can slide her into an S tier because I don't have enough cons to put her in an A tier, but something in my gut tells me to put her in an A tier. But we're going to go with S, and we'll talk more about these characters in just a second. I think that is like the basic list. I think that is Magnus's friend down here, by the way. But if you want to know the Mount Rushmore greatest of all time, again, that light fucking with my eyeballs, I got 4 people picked out. You can go ahead and try to guess those 4 people, but I'm going to slide them up into the top 4 one by one here. I hate to do it. Here's where we're going to go. Our first induction into our Mount Rushmore will be, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys, the 4th spot is kind of open. It's kind of open. So I'll just go ahead and put Jason there. Again, he's never known a single moment of peace his entire life. He struggled the entire show. He had some really cool arcs. But overall, you know, easily in the Mount Rushmore is Simon. Because Simon is one of the most enjoyable characters of the entire show. I think without a doubt, the overall best character in the show is Magnus. I think it's Magnus, Simon, Jace are for sure insta-locks for the Mount Rushmore. But the 4th fucking spot is so difficult. I hate that it's an all-guy cast so far in the Mount Rushmore. But, dude, Maya could have been in that. I think if Maya and Simon stay together long-term, not based off the relationship itself, but we get to see her come into being the alpha of the pack and get to run that pack for a little longer. And maybe not even her and Simon together, but her and Jordan may start to get together a little bit and we see her be more involved with the main group because they did put her in the intro as one of the main characters. But like I feel like she could easily be in the Mount Rushmore. I feel like Izzy would have been if they didn't give her so many lulls throughout the course of the fucking season. I think Luke could potentially drop to an A spot because they also didn't know what to do with him sometimes. Not even as a father, because he could have been more of a fatherly character to Clary at times, and he wasn't. So there's a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of missed scenes there that could have helped. Raphael, if he would have stuck around a little longer, also could have been a Mr. Goat character, just for the fact of, like, if he could have figured something out sooner, or maybe got abducted before he was going to get this daylighter thing from Simon, or figured out from Simon, and then his sister passes and he's going to miss the funeral, and then they test on him in the thing, and he gets released, and we see a shot of him at the funeral, or a shot, even if everything played out like it was, at the headstone, even after the fact, would have just been a perfect thing. Him paying for his sins for what he did to Heidi, yes, but even more torture for Heidi, and then to come around and completely resolve himself, and maybe even help out the Shadowhunters a little bit more, because he was a great character to have around. So that kind of leaves two people, which is Clary and Alec. Alec was a shitbird in the first season, but really came around and had to make some really difficult decisions. And as cute as it would be to have Alec and Magnus both in the Mr. Goat together, as much of indifference as I am about Clary, I think Clary's the only person logically that could be in that Mount Rushmore spot. I would give it to Valentine, but if you guys haven't noticed, Valentine isn't on this fucking list, and I think one of these parents, one of these versions of Jocelyn, is supposed to be Valentine. I think I would throw Valentine up here because he was a catalyst for a lot of things. I think I will put Clary against my will, but the show is about her and her growth and sacrificing her abilities and her relationship and her friendships to save everyone doesn't go without being noticed, I guess. So I think that is our Mount Rushmore greatest of all time. In this order, too, from fourth to first ranking of Clary, Jace, Simon, and Magnus for me personally. I think our S tier is pretty good. I'm not going to move anybody up or down. The Sealy Queen gets an A tier just because she was kind of scary at times. Max, Mama Lightwoods. You can almost move Kyle up. Hell, you can almost move him down. You can almost move Heidi up. But I think those are our people. That's going to be the ranking for Shadowhunters. And again, I enjoyed the show. I think it would have benefited from a bigger budget. It would have benefited from more time. It would have benefited from more episodes. And I've said numerous times about shows benefiting sometimes from more episodes. I think even in a situation like I've said numerous times about Game of Thrones that could have benefited from 10 more episodes, you also have to think about the wear and tear on the actors. So I think a fourth season for this would have really been able for them to wrap the show up. I'm not saying they didn't fight for it, but they could have helped wrap the show up. I think if Game of Thrones would have had 10 episodes in season 7 and 8, I think they could have wrapped it up perfectly in that amount of time rather than cutting it short. But man, Shadowhunters, one more season to explore the fire powers of Izzy, to explore Alec and Magnus making up and then being literally worlds apart from one another, getting a dark Magnus, getting more of dark Clary, and trying to defeat Jonathan and Lilith over the course of the season, and then having everybody come together. I think this would have been just solid. But while the characters, there's some that are just boring, that are easily in that trash, nobody was really exhausting other than Jonathan, I think. It sucks Valentine isn't on that list, but I guess the main point of it is for you all to either, you can just say your Mount Rushmore greatest of all time in the comments. You can definitely do your own. Oops, that's the wrong button. You can definitely do your own of these, and you can post it either in the Discord or link it in the YouTube thing. And I think I will leave it there because tomorrow is our series recap, and we can dive right into the shits and get it going. So I'll leave it there. I will leave links and everything in the description box down below. We'll have playlist up on screen. And as always, stay cute, stay hydrated, and I will catch you on the next one.